when we play against Wales, these games are always very tight. In the last 2 or 3 years, it's been within a point, so I'm not expecting it to be any different tonight.
We know the final games are very tough, and so what would it mean to you and to the team to come away with a win tonight?
Well, I think it would mean anything. It would be a real reward for all the hard work we've put in. But that's we need a performance tonight if we're ever going to have a chance of that. So that's what we're looking for.
Thank you. Roland, what's the mood coming into this game, given that, well, both Scotland and Wales had heavy defeats last round, but probably quite positive performances?
Yeah, look, and I think, you know, that's with England and Scotland with away in France. We've done that this year as well, so we know the quality of the opposition there. I think, I'm sure watching the Scotland England game, Scotland-France game, you would have picked up, they would definitely picked up a lot of positives after that. I think having Jade back at 8 lifts their team generally, and we were the same. You know, over the last 2 seasons, we haven't really had anything out of the games against England, but there was a good half-hour block in the middle there where it was a competitive game of rugby.
Different challenge tonight, not least because the conditions are totally different than they were 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
you know, it's a fantastic stadium here, and because you managed to put the weather like Wales, so yeah, we're really grateful. Thank you.
You go into this not having won a game, but with probably looking at tonight and next week thinking we could maybe come away with these 2 wins and really put a different complexion on the championship.
Yeah, look, we've you know, every game, you know, you prepare to win, obviously. You know, we knew the challenges that we've had so far, and you know, Italy being unbeaten, we knew that over there that was going to be a big challenge for us, which we did pretty well. Yeah, you know, and I'm sure when you speak to Scotland, they'll be saying exactly the same, that you know, we probably you know, they target this game, and we would certainly want to be in position to win this game as well. So it probably makes it quite an interesting challenge.
Good luck. Bye.
I'm just going to talk on it, make sure it's the right way.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the morning chorus tonight at Scotland Stadium, the Scottish Power Flying Band. If you were to look this year at Scotland Stadium, a very convenient team will belong to another epic Six Nations of the Scotland Rugby League, which will be kicking off in a few minutes from now. And tonight's goal team are from Parker, Queen's Park, Hutchison, Rutland, Jordan Hill, White Plains, and Alan West. And we'd also like to extend a warm welcome and thanks to the children from Carroll and Monmouth for being today's community rugby teams with Rugby here in Scotland, and also joining a guard of half-time matches to Philadelphia 8 identification program under 16 squads from Caledonia and Glasgow Eagles. Welcome to one and all. ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, stand by for our team announcements for those who run through the teams for tonight's Six Nations match between Scotland and Ireland. Mark up these as well, of course. And here is the winning score for you. Beginning with number 15, Lauren Smith. Number 14, Jasmine Joyce. Number 13, Anna Jones. Number 12, Linda George. Number 11, Jess Kavanagh. Number 10, Robin Wilkins. Number 9, Kira Levin. Number 1, Carol Thomas. The captain, number 2, Paris Phillips. Number 3, Amy Evans. Number 4, Wayne Graham. Number 5, Mel Clay. Number 6, Alex Callender. Number 7, Nathan Lewis. Number 8, Stuart Lillicrap. And their replacements on the Welsh bench. Number 16, Kelsey Jones. Number 17, Tara Hull. Number 18, Harris Hale. Number 19, Alicia Butchers. Number 20, Manon Jones. Number 21, Theon Lewis. Number 22, Wilson Union. Number 23, Eleanor Snowden. So Scotland, let's welcome the Scottish team, number 15, Chloe Wally. Number 14, Rhoda Lloyd. Number 13, Anna Smith. Number 12, their captain, Lisa Thompson. Number 11, Annabelle Sargent. Number 10, Helen Nelson. Number 9, Barry Green. Number 1, Maggie Kennedy. Number 2, Anna Skelton. Number 3, Mary Forsyth. Number 4, Emma Wessel. Number 5, Sarah Bonner. Number 6, Rachel Malcolm. Number 7, Rachel Macklin. Number 8, Jane Rumble. Number 16, Jodie Renty. Number 17, Lisa Cockburn. Number 18, Katie Goodin. Number 19, Nicola Hallett. Number 20, Deborah McCormick. Number 21, Jenny Maxwell. Number 22, Lisa Martin. And number 23, Abby Evans. Boys and girls, Scotland, make some noise. Scotland women. boys and girls, tonight we are delighted to welcome to Scotstoun Stadium Scottish Rugby President Dean Bradbury, the former international athlete who became in August 2018 Scottish Rugby's first female president. She's also the first female president of the Senior Rugby Union. Exclusive international Women's Day, the Dean delivers tonight's match ball. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Scottish Rugby President Dean Bradbury.
Good evening everyone, welcome to Glasgow where two teams meet who will both have targeted this match for a win when the fixtures first came out. It's a Celtic clash that historically has been very tight, very entertaining, and it promises more of the same this evening. Scotland hosting Wales. Let's take a look at the fixtures for this weekend. This of course the first fixture of round 4 tomorrow. Well, Sandy Park will have a big audience for the two unbeaten teams in this year's Six Nations. England hosting the Italians, and then Ireland against France tomorrow evening in Dublin. Plenty of points to prove there as well. It means that at the moment the table looks like this, with England and Italy the two unbeaten teams, though the bonus points obviously putting England well in advance at the top of the log, but it's the bottom of the table we're looking at this evening. Wales with those 2 points from the draw in Lecce, Scotland with it all to do, you would think, this evening to get some points on the board. Well, it's what you call a dreich night here in Scotland. It's certainly been dank. The rain has abated for the moment, but there's a good following, male and female, here to watch this match this evening. Expectation always high when the Scots are playing at Scotstoun. Plenty of interest in the game, and it will be certain that whether they're wearing Welsh flags or the saltire, they are going to be shouting loud and proud through the course of the next hour and a half. Been disappointing thus far for the Scottish fans with the losses at home to Italy and Ireland, but the Welsh, well, they will take something from that draw against Italy. Tough match against England, both teams trying to rebound from big defeats. Here come the Scots. Bringing things on is Lisa Thompson, the skipper. A more considered approach from Karis Phillips, her opposite, for the visitors. There's the 21-year-old skip, now playing a rugby with DMP Sharks, but very much focused on the course for her national team this evening. So before the action can start, of course we have the formalities. Flower of Scotland for the home team, but first my Henbled Van Hadai for the Welsh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be outstanding if you can for the national anthem of Wales. Scotland performed by the Scottish Power Light Band.
So the anthems bringing the emotions to the Boyle. Now those players have to settle themselves. Let's take a look at the lineups. As for that French game, Shade Munro makes 4 changes to his starters. The backline 10 to 15 remains constant, but there's a change at scrum half. Sarah Law's training injury last week opens the door for Mary Grieve to return at 9. Megan Kennedy moves to loosehead to allow Mary Forsyth to make her first start at tight head. Sarah Bonner's utility status utilised once again. Well, there was enough big ticks in small boxes last weekend for Roland Phillips to make just 2 changes in personnel for the visitors, both in the backs, where Lauren Smith returns to add some pizzazz from fullback, whilst Lakey George makes her first international start at centre, previously having played in the back row. There's a tactical change in the current back row. Callender and Lewis exchanging shirts, still 2 very able supporters for the focal point that is Siwan Lillicrap. Let's take a look at the 2 benches. Coburn and Howard rotate onto the bench for the home side. 18-year-old Manon Johns returns to action for the visitors. At the other end of the experience scale, Eleanor Snowsill looks to earn her 52nd cap if she steps on this evening. There's the referee today, Beatrice Benvenuti, already reffed here at Scotland-Ireland game earlier on. Well, it's all set for a very interesting Celtic clash. It's International Women's Day. It's round 4 of the Six Nations. It's Scotland versus Wales to start the weekend. Alongside me, I'm delighted to welcome back Philippa Tuckett, former Welsh international. The mind games that must be going on inside the heads of those girls right now must be immense. It's going to take a lot of resolve and focus just to get themselves settled into their game plan early doors.
Yeah, this is a high-pressure game. This is a must-win for both teams, but equally, I think they're both going to be really relishing in the opportunity to have a competitive game. There's very little between these teams, so it's going to be a really interesting battle.
Yeah, when we look at the history books, the last 2 years, there's only been a solitary point between the 2 teams on each occasion. Wales may be secure in their history, I guess. They've won 11 out of 12, though the last time they came to Glasgow, it was Scotland, the brave victors, 15-14 at Broadwood Stadium, Cumbernauld. That's what, 25 minutes, 20 miles northeast of here. But such tight contests recently will make both sets of players realise that they have got to try and be as accurate as possible this evening. In difficult conditions, there is a very, very strong breeze from behind the Welsh backs right now. And there's a very strong Welsh scrum there, and that's going to be an issue maybe for the home side. It certainly has been through the Six Nations thus far. Skeldon muscling up, Grieve trying to get the forwards involved, coming around the corner as quickly as possible. Nelson takes a wander down that far side. Scotland getting good early ball and good early momentum. Conkell, as I must call her, Jade Conkell as she wants to be known. Such a key character within the Scottish ranks. Be it loose-head as she was last year, or at number 8 more familiarly, Smith takes Scotland for the first time into the 22, and now they're trying to ratchet things up. Rachel McLaughlin finds no way through, but the ball is still there for those in blue. Conkell goes through like a bowling ball against Skittles, free, looking for an opening, but there was just a little bit of obstruction there, picked up by the referee.
What fantastic tempo from Scotland there. Talk about coming out with intent. Fantastic set of play there. Unfortunately, we just saw one of the Scottish players run into the back of her own players, so penalty there, turnover to Wales. Nice bit of release for Wales. See Plaky George now taking the kicks for touch as well.
Yeah, nothing that Annabelle Sargent could do with that one.
Thank you. As we see here, it's just the 9 there. Mary Grieve, unfortunately, tried to pick and go there. There's a bit of crossing, so the Welsh player couldn't make her tackle.
Captain Lisa Thompson just getting ahead of the game there, that ultimately stopped the momentum. There's Phillips. Well, the line-out has been an issue for Wales. As strong as the scrum has been, the line-out has not been dependable.
Kenton. Release first and then
It's going to ultimately allow Scotland to work themselves back up into the Welsh 22. Emma Wassell, as ever, a major irritant for the opposition when it comes to the line-out.
That's going to be quite a bit of a confidence booster for Scotland there. With the lineouts, they haven't really been successful in challenging. France and Ireland actually got 100% retention when they played against Scotland, so that's a good little tick in the box for Scotland.
Wales have lost 12 now, 33 lineouts in this tournament, and that really gives you a fair indicator of the fragility. Scotland coming in 32 of 38 and continuing to provide secure ball for their team. Cut back from Thompson. Grieve doesn't get the easy ball to feed out, but Conkell is going to try and get her team up over that gain line again. Again, Scotland able to keep that ball moving, picking the phases up, but just trying to make some headway. Forsyth, Nelson. See how that Welsh defence has just moved their hosts a little further away from the 22. It's all about Scotland playing with the ball, but the pressure is coming on from those in red.
Please tackle!
Bounce ball rescued by Skeldon. Scotland go again, but now going from considerably deeper. Thompson tries to adjust that particular focus. Conkell, the Harlequins number 8, really denting the fringe defenders. Skeldon. Nelson. Hard to try and get through the tackle of Beth Lewis.
You can see Wales here are doubling up on their tackles. It's really making sure that when they come up with that line speed, they're stopping the attack at source. Really preventing Scotland from actually going forward. They're retaining the ball, but they're not going too far forward at the moment.
Rachel Malcolm back in the lineup now. In that back row, Nelson out to Smith. Smith looking for that diagonal scything cut that we've already seen her use to great effect in the Six Nations. It's all about the host so far. Can they make it count with points on the board though? Good drive from Forsyth.
Leave it.
Skeldon, next cab up in the rank. 6 metres out now, Scotland.
Run away, Riz.
Took so much satisfaction from that game against France with the 2 tries that they scored first time, I think in 9 years that they'd scored against the French. Psychologically, it is absolutely crucial for them to get over that white line and get a 5-pointer on the board as quickly as possible.
Yeah, scoring tries, it does give you that confidence, and it's interesting. Oh, here we go. Scotland quick tap.
Release.
Quick tap and take, trying to
Get on
catch
the line, on the
Wales,
line.
looking for the line out.
On the line.
Noses on the pitch. Battle for that line. Wales working really hard around the fringe, but they're not able to stop them. And Scotland get the first score in 7 minutes, and it's gone to Conkell. Jade Conkell gets her 7th try in national colours.
Best possible start there for Scotland. Weren't gaining too much momentum going forward, but they retained the ball, they remained patient, and then that quick little tap to go. I think they might have caught the Welsh defence just slightly off guard there.
Scotland scored by number 8, Jade Conkell.
Yeah, it's the Harlequins back rower who makes that physicality, that muscularity count at close quarters. You can see it better here.
Scotland 5, Wales 0.
Well, a big psychological plus from the home side and for the home fans. Can Lana Skeldon make it even better now as she sets up from the tee? Oh, just pushing it. You can see kicking into that strong breeze. Never going to be easy, but satisfaction for the home side as they get the first points on the board this evening.
And that's one thing that Scotland maybe have been a bit guilty of, is having that possession, playing in the right areas of the field, not always capitalising on it. So that's something they're going to be very pleased with, to come away from that bit of possession with points on the board.
Well, Conkell is such a talismanic character really in the Scottish ranks. It was difficult at the beginning of the season. She had the switch, having played in Lille last season, and then moved across to Harlequins to play in the Tyrrell's Premier 15s, but had problems with one shoulder, had a shoulder operation after the Canada game in the autumn, had another one, had problems with her thigh, so she really hasn't been able to get the continuity into a game she would have hoped for.
Yeah, first start in the Six Nations last round against France. Looking to see her get into the game today.
Not straight.
It is not going to be an easy evening for the Hookers with this strong wind coming down, and there you saw the boomerang effect. Let's see what Karis Phillips can do. Got to have strong darts this evening, I think.
And sensible calls in the lineup.
Sure. Well, sensible is to the front, and Gwen Crabb was there.
Stay up, stay.
Gets hold of the ball.
Say more.
And the drive goes on, and Scotland having to really work hard to get back in position.
Say no, you went on.
Well play. Forced away from a direct charge, but it's picked up again by the captain. Evans again, such a powerful figure in set and loose. Kenny Bevan calling for the ball, but those forwards don't want to release it yet. There it is now.
Play advantage offside.
Showing good handling skills. The advantage is there for Wales. Lillicrap. Wales really beginning to soften up that Scottish fringe defence. First time, of course, the visitors have been in the opposition 22. Flaky George, former back rower, so good physicality she possesses as well as her skill set. Counter ruck going on.
Go back for the offside.
Going back for that earlier call is the referee.
Thank you. Offside number 13, blue.
Call goes against Hannah Smith.
It's a shame actually that Robin Williams didn't have an opportunity to sort of look up a little bit there, because Jasmine Joyce was actually, you could see, really quite far out wide. So maybe a crossfield kick could have been an option, but Robin was way too flat to be able to see that.
It is something that Scotland have worked on defensively, is bringing that winger, the outside centre, around very quickly to try and suffocate the attack.
Which is fantastic as long as they make their tackles. If you do have a 10 that can look up and see it, put a little chip in behind, it can expose that.
So Robin Wilkins with her first chance of points, 4 out of 6 so far in the tournament. Teacher from Cardiff looking to get her team's score underway. Strong breeze behind us, so no problem with distance, and gets the required direction. Wales on the ball.
Sensible choice from Wales. You spend that much time down there, you've got to come away with some points.
As I say, you can see how strong this wind is, the rain as well. Interesting what the expectation is from the team with the wind behind them in the first half.
Should definitely see some kicks. You know, both of these sets of backs here got some really exciting back through. It'd be good to see if we can put some challenging kicks, you know, get a foot race going on. Let's see who's got the speed in this between these backs.
So often, of course, we talk about the game of two halves, and previously in the two encounters between these two, there has always been a game of two halves. You think back to Colwyn Bay round one last year, and Wales 13-0 up at the turnaround. Ultimately, they won that one 18-17, but Scotland coming back in the second half, obviously. Similarly, in that game in 2017, where Wales they were going to be, I think, 14-0 up at the break, bar a late score, and then Scotland came back strong in the second half. So interesting to see whether we get that sort of variance in these two halves this evening.
Ball is out.
Bevan. Juggled by Jazz Joyce, coming off a wing, looking for some work. It's not an evening to be staying out in the drafty channels out wide. Bevan gets the goal, and the burst is there from Beth Lewis. Ball is presented. Wilkins opts to stab it through. Joyce is up there quickly, but the ball will win the race.
So that's an example there of Robin Wilkins trying to use that wind, just dink it through, make a foot race for Jasmine Joyce, who has to be one of the fastest. That's a great break by Beth Lewis there. She looks for the offload here, ball in two hands, unfortunately just couldn't quite get it away to Siwan Lillicrap, who was there.
Get in.
20-year-old flanker hasn't missed a single minute of this Six Nations campaign. That's how important she's been, having made her debut against Scotland last season. Well, call from Beatrice Benvenuti telling Scotland they're not going to waste time, and Wales will not waste time in getting their attack firing up again. Crabb. A little bit of help from her friends, gets to the ground, and the next pick and drive goes, and Wales quite happy to go through these numbers because they're making headway with every drive. Bevan waiting for the ball, now it's out. George. Bevan has to let her forwards. Edge a little bit closer. Talking about Scotland with the 2 tries against France. Of course, those 2 tries for Wales against England were just as important psychologically. Callender, the 18-year-old, shows good balance, taken down by opposite number Malcolm, but it's still there for Wales. Still, they thump on the Scottish door. loading up to the
Release.
left-hand side. If they want to use the backs, but those forwards don't want to do it. And I think it's Beth Lewis. Indeed it is. It's the Gloucester Hartpury flanker who gets the first score on the door for the visitors.
Initially, Scotland did very well in slowing down that ball. Wales looked like their initial intention was carry, suck in the defenders, which they did. And actually, Jasmine Joyce on the right wing had acres of space, but the Scottish did really well at slowing it up, so they couldn't get it out. So Beth Lewis takes the initiative, quick little pick and go, drive through. Fantastic.
Sorry?
And I think that's the first time Bethan Lewis has had her name on the try scorers list for Wales. If I remember correctly, and that is a big moment for her, big moment for Wales as they get themselves in front for the first time in this game.
And that successful conversion there by number 10 for Wales, Robin Wilkins, brings the scoreline here at Scotland with Scotland 5, Wales 10.
That was all about the forwards. Concerted pressure, concerted effort from numbers 1 to 8.
I asked for the TMO.
Bearing
and the
dividends
TMO
in the
said,
end.
okay.
Student under Susie Appleby at Gloucester Hartpury is Beth Lewis. No doubt they'll be raising a cup of something down there to that particular score. Canada offering
Side entry.
side entry
Side
call from the
entry.
referee. That
Number
is
6,
what Roland
side.
Phillips will consider a lazy penalty.
A lazy penalty and potentially just an over-eager player to try and get in there. Alex Callender trying to get in there to just secure that ruck. Unfortunately, that is a side entry.
Canada, who made her first start against England at 7, moving into the 6th shirt this evening, primarily to get Bethan Lewis with more chance with hand on ball and maybe more open surroundings, but Canada losing her discipline there, and Wales losing significant yardage inside their own 22.
Unfortunately for Roland, that's part and parcel of blooding in these younger players. This is part of the learning process.
Skeldon hits a target as Wassell comes round to retake possession. Backs coming in to add their weight to the Scottish cause. They go again and they've got the second try. Sarah Bonner it is,
Girls, please be
who
careful.
scoots round what was the blind side. Everybody looking at that driving ball setting up. And the second rower getting her team back in front.
Fantastic setup for the drive here. And it must have just been a miscommunication there for Wales to not see that ball pop out around the back. Wales tried to bring it down, and then we skirt around number 5, Sarah Bonner. And it's great to see her score a try. She's known for her defensive efforts, one of the top defenders in this Six Nations, top tackler actually, against France. She's been up there every time, so it's great to see her get her name on the board with a try.
Well, that ties things up as we head towards the end of the first quarter, but this kick, albeit still with an hour's play ahead of us, very important points on offer from the tee. Pushing across the face of the post again. So the end of the first quarter, all things tied up thanks to that try from Sarah Bonner. Scored a try against Italy, now scored a try against Wales. Nobody at home on that short side.
Just see there as Jasmine Joyce has obviously done everything she can to try and get in there and help. Unfortunately, that did leave a blind side open. Great awareness by Sarah to expose that.
Flexibility of Sarah Bonner at 5 against Italy, at 8 against Ireland, at 6 against France. Now back in the 5 shirt to great effect. So, Scotland settling in good style and affecting the work away from their own half. How are Wales going to respond now? The kick through. Chloe Rowley has to work hard towards his left flank. Her against Jasmine Joyce. She steps and goes. This is what the Scottish fullback is about. This is what brings people to their feet in the stands. Electric work from Chloe Rowley.
It's a rock, don't go off!
Good drive again from Wassell. Grieve. To Rachel Malcolm, the Loughborough Lightning flanker, working hard to get her team up and over that line. There's a turnover, I think.
It's no advantage coming. It's not on.
Not forward from a Scottish hand.
Great to see Chloe Rowley with the ball in hand. She hasn't really been able to take her opportunity as well. She hasn't really had many opportunities this Six Nations. But great to see her have an attack.
Conkell unable to keep the ball as she hit the ground, but this is why Scotland love their fullbacks. They've got Stuart Hogg in the men's team, they've got Chloe Rowley in the women's, and they both have this excitement, this capacity to thrill from any given opportunity.
Yeah, we're ready.
Such strength there, actually holding Hannah Jones off, still making the runner to have a double tackle to bring her down.
Crouch!
2 tries against Wales last season, hasn't got on the board at all this season as yet. There's a feeling that teams have kind of worked out that you can't kick loosely to the Scottish fullback. Such is her capacity and potential to strike back from whatever position.
Time's off.
And in fairness to Lauren Smith, that was actually a pretty good kick. You know, she held onto it till the last minute, kept the defenders guessing, put it behind Chloe Rowley, but that is the class of Chloe Rowley. It's got to be a better than a good kick. It's got to be an amazing kick to catch her at.
And dare I say, Lauren Smith could become Chloe Rowley in a few years' time. She has that same capacity.
She definitely does. We saw it against Italy. You know, she's got bags of confidence and a great step.
Carol Thomas reverting to the warmth of the scrum engagement.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Welsh strong and firm. Wilkins again looking for that diagonal kick and again making the headway required. Good game management from Robin Wilkins there.
Yeah, I think she would have liked a little bit more distance on that. You can see she was a bit frustrated, maybe just caught it on the wrong side of her boot, but still good position to play from. Solid scrum from Wales.
So Lana Skeldon has a pressure line out.
Lock on.
Edge forward off a Welsh hand, so Scotland will have a chance to scrum down and relieve their position, but it's difficult surroundings there, you can see it.
Sorry.
Wales playing with the tide in this first half.
Scotland have been so unlucky at home, the conditions that they've had for every game.
Quarter of an hour to go in this first half, and Thomas Phillips and Evans trying to ensure they make the most of this territorial position. Maybe opportunity.
Yeah, problem. I need you to bind long.
Has been
Let's not bind on the
something
shoulder.
that Wales
Okay, I need
have been
you to
able
go
to dominate.
over. Okay, thank you.
The Scottish scrum has issues.
Yeah, they
More
can get
issues.
the
I
call
think
down.
there was something of a warning there for Mary Forsyth. There she is, making her first start. Stirling County tight head. Principal teacher of numeracy, Peterhead Academy. No doubt thrilled seeing their maths teacher stepping out in national colours this evening.
Bind! Okay, girls. Listen, I don't want to hear anyone more complaining, okay? Let's bind, that's what you have to do. Let's bind long, make a bind long, okay? That's all we have to do. Clear? Clear? Yeah. Get it.
Scotland pack has been a bit of an issue. They're scrummaging, particularly in the front row. It's just not quite clicking for them. They really did struggle in the last round against France, resorting to forcing things and actually giving away a lot of penalties at their scrum.
Megan Kennedy having to work across to this loose outside up against Amy Evans. Such a strong, tight head, and you can see the power coming through again. Conkell has to pick up in reverse, does very well. Helped by a captain, and Scotland able to try and work their way away from danger. High shot is going to help that cause a little further.
Tap it here. Here.
Callender again, I think, getting penalised there. See how that boomerangs around. That's the strength of the wind. Chris Patterson has been doing some work with the kickers. It was Alex Callender just getting a little high on that shot.
And Alex Callender really is known for being a chop tackler, but I think, as you've seen earlier, the Welsh defence seems to be a two-hit tackle, so someone has to go high, someone has to go low, but you need to make sure that high tackle is still legally high, which is not that high.
Line out just about working for the Scots. Quite how they planned it, but the ball is there for Nelson and co. Lisa Thompson again, happy to do that crash ball Charlie roll. Skeldon. Forwards working round to the right, but the backs are hanging out to the left, but Nelson struggles to take the wet ball. Can't rescue it, and that's good work from the Welsh breakaways.
That was a fantastic piece of play from Blakey George as well. Line speed from the whole back line. If you get to see this back, you see Blakey George run straight up onto the ball carrier and straight over, looking for that jackal straight away, and gets the ball back for Wales.
Shows quite a good boot as well. There she is, the 19-year-old.
Here we go, we see the line speed coming up from Wales. As soon as that ball goes to the ground, you see that jump in urgency. Wales straight up on it. Blakey over the ball, pulls her back, gets the turnover. Fantastic.
Caravan Country working hard on her conditioning to make sure she's in prime fitness for this opportunity in midfield. Already showing well in the first half an hour or so. Karis Phillips looking for that little pop to her scrum half, but Grieve straight through. Wales doing well to rescue the opportunity, having to go now from 15 metres. Again, the forwards massing up for a pick and drive offensive.
You have the ball! Ball is available!
For Siobhan Lillicrap being such a key part of this Welsh lineup, especially in the absence of Sinead Harris. The rugby at Swansea University has really been leading this Welsh team, particularly in the loose scenarios like this. Now it's moved out a little further, but again, cutting back, looking for that loose arm, the weaker arm on the inside. Lewis. Nobody expecting the ball to go too far out. Just two backs waiting out wide on either side, but the forwards aren't releasing this. There's the penalty call.
Off your feet, number one. Off your feet.
The call goes against Carol Thomas. And that is what is commonly known as a coach killer. Just that lack of discipline around the breakdown.
It did get a bit scrappy then. You had one or two consistent carries, but it started getting a bit loose. And unfortunately, Karis Phillips just lost her foot in there. But good work by Scotland.
Thumbs back on.
If we see that there, Karis Phillips just trying to clear out and loses her footing.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit harsh on the Bath community officer there, because she was in contact with the drive as it set off and then tried to rescue things.
It's such a fine line, and in conditions like this as well, the ground is going to be really slippy underfoot.
Says that her hero is David Flatman. When will they learn? There's the conditions. Not the day for playing frisbee, let alone rugby. This Welsh discipline is being tested right now. There's the blatant facts of this first half an hour. Again, the take from Emma Wassell. Made her debut in the Six Nations 5 years ago and hasn't missed a single game since. It is a quite remarkable CV of durability and determination. Grieve gets her kick charge down, hack through, just going out, and I think that was Carol Thomas, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Carol Thomas. Great awareness to preempt that kick coming and get the charge on.
Well, the Bristol Bears loose head really working hard there. There she comes through.
Showing off her football skills as well.
Well, as you can see, this is a day for the forwards. We may be playing on plastic, but it's wet and windy.
No worries. Time's off.
There's the charge coming through from the big loose head. Really keeping the pressure up on their host. 10 minutes to go until the turnaround, and it is going to be a significant turnaround if the weather stays as it is.
Currently, neither team really have a grasp on the momentum of this game. If Wales could capitalise on this position here, get a try before the half, that would really set them up strong for the second half.
See those poor backs. Aren't you glad you're not out in this? You need hand warmers, head warmers, skins, anything.
I do feel for them. They're doing the Irish jig at the moment, trying desperately to keep warm.
There's Roland Phillips and Gareth Wyatt and co, the coaching committee up there. I wonder how they're feeling right now with 10 minutes to go. And, a game of two halves. There's Shade Munro, Lee Dickinson up there with him as well. I think he will be the more satisfied of the two coaches if this score remains the same at half time.
Guys, we need a sub for here, please.
Well, the chartered accountant from Harriet's is struggling there.
Yeah, no worries.
Wassell, quite sure what happened there, but obviously got the stuffing out of the second row. So, the obvious replacement, Nicola Howard.
Yeah, I got it.
Started in second row already in this Six Nations. Just to see how Wassell is reacting to treatment on that far side. It's been a difficult season for Scotland. Had narrow losses to Canada at the end of November, and then to Spain in January. It looked like it was set fair for a good Six Nations campaign, but ultimately it hasn't manifested itself that way. Extra pressure when you're playing your final home game this evening of this campaign.
And I spoke to Deborah McCormack in the week, and certainly not the way that they were hoping to start their Six Nations, especially with the home game there against Ireland. And they definitely want to make this their fortress. They want to perform for the Scottish fans here tonight. And still, they've got the points on the board. They're going to. I think Scotland will be pretty happy with the results so far.
Oh, smiles on faces. Maybe it's a hand problem, I think.
It's probably a dislocation. I think they might have just popped it back in.
Judging by the yelp, I think you might be correct in that.
I recognise that yelp.
No, sorry, they couldn't move her because she has a
Well, one thing's for sure, Emma Wassell will not want to leave the pitch.
Yeah. So that's why I'm being careful.
There's the charge down here. You can just see in the back play there, she was struggling with that hand. Oh, Mr. Jeffries in the house. Good to see JJ in the ranks. Supporting Mark Dodson with him, of course. The SRU chief exec. Well, they're tough lasses. There's look, she's even smiling at Mwasu. Yes, it's fine. I'm back. Never going anywhere before half time.
Shake it off, shake it off.
Doesn't hurt, doesn't hurt. Still, pressure on her team now inside the last 10 minutes of this first half. Skeldon has to hit her target. Skewed round, but Sarah Bonner able to provide the possession for her marauding forwards.
Stay.
That is what we call shutting the door in the face. Great work from the Welsh following up, trying to keep the pressure on. Skeldon calling the shots from the base. Bonner, another Loughborough Lightning player. Plenty of girls on view from both sides that play in the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. There's Helen Nelson. Well, she plays for the top 16 champions as it is now in France, in Montpellier. Her first season with them. Former member of the Scottish Alpine ski team 10 years ago.
Very talented, very talented.
Used to cold weather. She'll be having no problems this evening. There she is. She's 24 years of age and making the most of the chance to play abroad. Many of these girls do. 8 of this squad are supported, assisted with their rugby careers. Good hit coming in from Thompson again. Thompson was playing a ball with Lille. Turnover is there for the Scots, and now they're trying to work something from their own 22. The crowd urging them on. Bonner sets it back for Grieve. From Kell. Good pick up. Great pick up from Nelson there. That was a difficult dying pass. Secure pass, partially charged down, and the ricochet might work for Wales there.
Play.
Charged down, I think, was by Wilkins. Robin Wilkins coming through on her opposite number, and suddenly Wales have possession and opportunity that goes with it. Phillips. Hannah Jones offering and taking the hard contact.
Play advantage.
Lillicrap surveying the options.
They have advantage, no rolling.
Advantage is there for Wales.
No advantage coming, no rolling.
Sorry, my shoe is gonna.
Yeah, no rolling. Yeah, oh yeah, get it on.
Sarah Bonner needs to be re-shoed. I'm not sure that she's going to be given time.
Go for line out.
Might want to flip her rather than boot.
That was a frustrating bit of play there from Wales off that line out. They obviously had it in their heads they wanted to go wide, but the quality of pass wasn't there. It was a forced pass, 2-3 forced passes. It meant that, yes, they got the ball to the wing, just Kavanagh Williams, but they got it to her with no space. It meant that she got turned over and it became Scotland's possession. Needs to be a little bit more patient with the ball late in boots.
What a kick that is from Lakey George as we see the reason for it. The burst from Hannah Jones. Not rolling away, the cause of the problem for the officials, but Wales' new inside centre has given the Wales forwards a big opportunity here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, Lakey George is not only in there for her tackling, but also for that massive boost.
Stay on, Bob! Leave it!
Karis Phillips in the vanguard. Just losing her footing temporarily, but strong enough to continue things.
8!
Penalty against Conkell.
You need to roll away. You're falling on the wrong side.
Scotland desperate to try and keep their visitors out.
8, please.
5 minutes to go until they can turn around and get the wind in their favour. Well, more of the same required by Karis Phillips. Clanky George provides the first part.
Don't go for the legs. Don't go there.
Big moment here for Wales. These are what you call those momentum shifters. Could all change. Wales get a try, go into the half. It's a very different game second half.
Big psychological balance shifter, as you say, Mel. Clay provides the possession.
Get back.
The forwards voraciously assemble around. Clay takes it back. Clay being forced forward, now it's moved out to Amy Evans. Scotland doing really well to shift the tight head out into touch on this near side. That is a big plus for the Scottish forwards.
And that momentum now has just shifted towards Scotland. Fantastic work rate by the forwards there. You can see them coming through and actually fragmenting that maul, preventing it from getting its momentum and causing it to split off and then having the Welsh player tackled into touch.
Girls coming.
Just confirming what that line-out call is, because much as they have the line-out, the pressure is still there. The flat back is not going to help their cause. They have to touch it down. And it's going to be a 5-metre scrum for Wales. So no sooner have they been able to catch their breath than the Scottish pack are going to come under duress once again.
And this is not really a strength of Scotland. I mean, any team can put in a heroic effort on the try line, and this is what it's going to need to be, because typically the Welsh scrum is far more dominant than the Scottish.
Talking to Shade Monroe earlier on today, and he was telling me about the paucity of props, really, the options since Lindsay Smith retired. It really doesn't have many options. There's Megan Kennedy moving across the loose head for this evening. She's been playing tight head through the course of the campaign. We're going to come back, I think.
Girls.
See those Scottish forwards dropping to the turf. Kennedy looks to have taken a fairly hefty knock there. Medical staff on very quickly to check Stirling County's prop.
Both the Scottish props there, Megan Kennedy and Mary Forsyth, are still relatively new in international experience terms, both just getting their debuts 2017 and 2018, so still finding their feet, I think, at this level.
Kennedy winning her 12th cap and Forsyth her 6th. It is a real steep learning curve for those two ladies.
Especially when you're coming up against the likes of 45 caps of, Karis Phillips, Carol Thomas in the 50 club. It is a tough ask.
Yeah. Strong ladies playing opposite them. Thomas, Phillips, Evans, as resolute and powerful the front row as pretty much you've got in the Six Nations, I would suggest.
Oh, they've definitely held their own, against England, against France. They were absolutely solid.
Mr. Alistair Kellogg in the house, thankfully sitting down so the people behind him can see Gemma Fay alongside him. And there's big news for Gemma Fay this week. The Women's Executive Leadership Scholarships being announced by Sir Bill Beaumont this week. Gemma, the head of girls and women's rugby at Scottish Rugby, getting one of those 14 scholarships. World Rugby marking International Women's Day today. And it's a big week for Scottish. So Kennedy fit and able to return. This may be the end of the first half. But in terms of the bigger game, this is massive. Again, the front rows drop to the floor. Again, the call goes against them. Don't know whether it's the purchase studs on the plastic here. Obviously wet, obviously slippery, but Scotland numbers 1, 2 and 3 are going to have to be very careful now.
Let's hold from back. Okay. Let's get it closer.
90 seconds left on the clock. Nothing to split these two teams at the moment.
Crouch!
Is that going to change in the course of the next minute or so?
Set! Stay up!
Lillicrap keeping the ball at her feet, working away, and it's down, and number 8 gets the try. Well, Wales able to make that pressure count. Celebrations from everybody in red.
Fantastic footballing skills there from Siwan Lillicrap, especially in these conditions. Great work by the forward pack. Completely dominant. Get that drive on. Siwan Lillicrap just at the base of her feet there. Fantastic ball skills, controlling, dribbling in. As soon as she sees it's on, kicks and goes over. You know, it's great to see her get some attacking points as well. You know, she's
First time.
Yeah, she's been absolutely fantastic in defence. She's such a good player. She's actually one of the top carriers in the women's Six Nations, so out of all of the nations. She's got top carries. So it's really good to see her get on the points.
Oh, hang on, hang
hello.
on. We've got CSI Glasgow being called into operation here.
Oh, possible knock on.
Was there a knock on? Stefano Rossini, the TMO, in the walk to the truck is going to be called into action. Let's have a look.
Oh, it's going to be a scrum for them on a 5. Yeah, because
that is great work from the officials.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm checking for a potential knock-on.
Yes, perfect. The action was scored.
I give you the imaging,
Yeah.
the clip, the best angle on the picture.
Yeah.
The look on Siwan Lillicrap's face says that she knows what the outcome of this inquest is going to be.
So,
Well,
this is the best angle,
Yes.
Beatrice,
I agree for you.
and I think there is no control. It is a clear and obvious knock-on by red.
Yeah. So in the actor's corner, the try, the red player lose control of the ball. So I'm going to award a scrum for blue on a 5 meters. Do you agree?
I agree for
Thank
the
you.
knock-on scrum blue.
Thank you. No,
A huge moment in this match. The correct call from the officials. Lillicrap not keeping that ball under control as she drove for the second try. And that, well, a huge sense of relief from the stands for those of a Scottish persuasion. Big, big play at the end of this first half.
and I just hope that at the end of this game, when we talk about those momentum shifters, that could have been a big one for Wales. Massive relief for Scotland now. They need to make sure they secure this ball and they exit appropriately.
There you go. Got it.
So the clock
Stay here.
in the red.
Let's play.
Scotland now just have to hook and clear this ball and head for the walk to the hutches. That might be easier said than done.
Exactly the way the scrum's been going, I think Wales are going to be absolutely going for this.
Point! Set!
8-man shove coming on. Quick heel, and it's sent out, and Scotland achieved what they needed to achieve. Well, what a first 40 it's been. Scotland playing against severe conditions, holding on to that tied score at the break. Cockell and Bonner keeping the tries coming for the Scottish. Wales, well, with that try from Beth Lewis, and they thought they got the lead. It wasn't to be. At half-time, nothing between these two teams. It's Scotland 10, Wales 10.
Under 20 programs, which consists of over 55 players across the entire country, across all sports, from hunting clubs, schools, and universities across Scotland and England. for Allen RFC. Entry to the programme through online nominations at ScottishRugby.org. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a cheer for our Captain Minis. Ladies and gentlemen, we also tell you once again that smoking is not permitted in any area of the stadium to ensure the safety and continued movement. And please also remember as security measures, please do not leave any bags or packages unattended in the stadium, and please report any unattended bags or packages to members of staff or security in the first instance.
really was a tough task for the Scots, but they hit the 2 tries, the second by that lady, Sarah Bonner. And then, well, Wales thought they'd taken the lead into the hutches when Siobhan Lillicrap forced her way over, but the officials arriving at the knock-on call when they analysed the footage. So Wales now playing into the conditions. Would have been fascinating team talks from Messrs Munro and Phillips. Philippa Touchett alongside me, Simon Ward this evening. Do you foresee very different tactics now because of the conditions that they're playing with?
I think partly because of the conditions, but also partly what's just happened in that first half. Wales sucking in the Scottish defence so well, but they're not capitalising on that, not exposing that shortened line. So Wales mix it up, put some kicks in there. You can see Scotland now already using the wind with their kicks.
Lauren Smith, we haven't seen anything of her really in the first half. Such an exciting prospect of 15. Amy Evans unable to keep hold of that pass though.
It's a knock-on, it's no advantage coming.
Well, the draft is still there, but somebody's turned the tap off up above, thankfully for them for the moment. Let's hope that stays the same way for the next 40 minutes or so.
Time's off.
Because of the weather, because of the wind, does it force Wales to look at playing in a different way, therefore?
It does make the up and under kick definitely an option, which is something that they could, start implementing, start mixing up and varying their attack. And I think Scotland are definitely going to be using that wind. Try and pin Wales back, because they're not getting the most amount of momentum from their carries. So utilise that possession by putting the ball to boot, pin Wales down in their 22.
And as we highlighted at the beginning of this game, with the previous 2 games having just had a solitary point between the 2 teams, we knew it was going to be tight. And if they can utilise that breeze to make territorial advance, then you've got obviously a better chance of getting points. Points may not mean prizes this evening, but it certainly means a lot more feel-good.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to play the rugby in the right areas of the field, and if you've got that wind, it's going to give you an extra 10-15 metres on your kick. Utilise it.
Crouch!
Mary Forsyth.
Bind!
Sets herself against Carol Thomas, that experienced practitioner of the front row arts.
When you loot, line up here. Give it.
Grave in for Sarah Law. Started the first 2 games and then lost a 9 jersey for that France match.
Set!
Started her at the Selkirk Rhinos Minis. What a wonderful name. Well, Scotland pack going back in reverse, but the back sorted out. Lisa Thompson almost. That was a very important tackle from Flaky George there, because the Scotland captain looked like she was going to make that very important line break. Now she's back just in front of her own 22. That's difficult take from Jess Kavanagh. Scotland feasting around the ball, but good. Defiant defence from Kavanagh and co. Ball still there for the hosts. Rolling picks up the scraps, revs the engine and takes a look.
Come back on the advantage. There's no advantage coming.
Well, we talked about how difficult it is for wingers when they've been out in the cold, literally, for so much of the match. And Jess Kavanagh there struggling to get that ball under control.
Yeah, just got the one hand to it. She was caught in a bit of an awkward position. She wasn't really maybe fielded that as well as she could have, so her body angle, while she was trying to catch that ball, was all off.
There's Kavanagh. Plays with the RGC in the north of Wales. Talk about commitment. Jess Kavanagh makes a 300-mile round trip to training 3 times a week. Anybody who moans about commuting, Just think about that, and that's for a hobby.
It's insane, isn't it? And it's weekday evenings as well, getting in at midnight and going to work Thursday morning. It's amazing commitment.
Kunkel. Wally coming looking, there's a good hit coming in. Again, George using that physicality. Forcing Scotland back inside their own half now. Lloyd stepping in as the feed.
You good? You have the ball? She's okay.
Skeldon. No way through there for Helen Nelson.
This is really where Scotland could use the wind and try and ping it in the corners.
Release
2 or 3 carries in this area, use the wind, get the territory.
Well, ask and you shall receive. The box kick goes up. Take is there, good take. I think that was Jazz Joyce. In fact, no, I think it was Lauren Smith coming up for that one. And now the Welsh forwards try and get themselves back down the pitch. Bevan with a good kick, difficult to take over the shoulder. The follow-up is good from Joyce. Sargent having to really make sure she presented the ball well there for her team to secure. 5 minutes into the second half. Scotland being forced to go from deep once again. As easy as it may be in the beginning of the second half, by the time you get to the end, this is going to be sapping stuff. Clearance allows them just to catch their breath. It's interesting looking at the stats. Neither of these teams have scored a single point in this first 20 minutes after half time. And you would think, from a spectator's point of view, that they would come out, be revved up, maybe some new faces in there, looking to implement whatever their coaches have told them to do.
Yeah.
But neither team have been able to make the most of that momentum after the break.
Yeah, and I think you're right in what you're saying there. I think maybe that stat is more akin to their performance as a whole and just not being clinical enough. Whereas I think you look at other teams in the Six Nations, they are scoring in that time, just like you say. You come out in the second half and it is 0-0. It's a fresh start. You go for it.
Well, Wales are going for it now. Look at that drive. Good setup from the ladies in red. Working their way into position in the Scottish 22. Bevan feeds them again. Carol Thomas at the forefront. Presentation is good. Crabb, the 19-year-old second row. Bevan sniping, looking for another half metre or so. Lewis, the try scorer, sets it on. Wales really beginning to build up a head of steam here. Scotland with defenders strewn around, really having to work so hard. Bevan now feeds it out to Wilkins. Wilkins looked for a huge rainbow pass that wasn't there, has to take the contact. George gets the leg drive.
Sorry.
Bevan directing operations at the base of the breakdown. Big hit coming through there from Kunkel, that was needed by her team. Wales still with the ball though. Lewis. Wales showing good patience. Hawkins trying to bring those backs in. We've really seen very little, if anything, of the Welsh outside backs at all.
Advantage.
Advantage is there for Wales. Good transfer from Thomas. Callender. Quick presentation wanted, but they drive over. And in the end, the referee has to come back for that offside call.
Frustrating there, because Wales are sucking in the Scottish defence.
Quick tap and go by Phillips. Determined to keep that momentum. Callender stopped just short. Big plays coming in. drive and drive and drive again. Scotland on their mettle now, having to put every shoulder in, trying to stop the flow of these phase after phase of pick and drives. Gwen Crabb taken down by Conkell, lays it back again.
On the line.
Bevan, twisted out, ball is lost. And as at the end of the first half, Scotland able to defend their line.
Great defence from Scotland. That was a battering by Wales. See, Akira Bevan just puts in the pass there. Couldn't quite keep it to hand.
I can track it.
Potentially not the most sympathetic pass for a runner that's coming at such a short angle. It could have just been a bit of a softer pass, but it was a more sympathetic pass, especially in the conditions here.
A hit from Emma Wassell again. How many times have we seen her put her body on the line for Scotland?
Second rows, back rows for Scotland. Fantastic work rate. Saw it against France in the other round. Back row, unbelievable.
Come closer. Close.
Ready, let's go, let's go.
So a big scrum setting up.
Crouch!
Bind!
Bind!
Wales are going to make a substitution. Pick up from Thompson.
Release it!
That is what her team needed from Lisa Thompson. Scotland trying to work their way away from danger, but losing the ball in the contact. Here come Wales again. They've been punching and punching and now bounce back off the ropes.
Wales need to spread this. Quick turnover ball like that, you've got to get it out wide.
Scotland's line speed effective there, but it's still there for the visitors. Still they go hunting that second try.
It's your player having it.
Forwards in position. Bevan tries to find the shortest route through. Crabb. Scotland's defence easing Wales away, but it's still full throttle from those Welsh forwards. Amy Evans comes careering round the corner.
Stay up.
Forsyth getting a double hit in there. Phillips. We've got numbers out to the left now, they're congregating again a bit tighter. No way through for Hannah Jones.
Off your feet.
Well, Scotland have done it again. They've resisted, they've held on, they've communicated. That blue line has stayed intact, and that is a big plus for the home side at the beginning of this second half.
Very big plus. They're going to take a lot of confidence from that defence. It's one thing from every single game of the Six Nations for both Wales and Scotland. The coaches have been nothing but complimentary for the defensive effort. So it was new. You're not going to break down either of these sides easy. You've just seen there the heart and the determination. Just keep going, forcing that error.
Shane Munro will be delighted, no doubt, with the application of his team there. Holding on to that line and time after time resisting the thrust.
What Scotland are being very clever at is they're choosing when to go into that ruck to slow it down and when to just get bodies on the feet and defend. They're doing that very well at the moment.
Some patched up bodies, but once again Emma Wassell and co ready for the next engagement. There's the change now. Interesting change. It's Manon Johns. Manon Johns coming on for Alex Callender. So teenager for teenager. And another of this huge contingent of teenage talent coming through the Welsh system. Interesting to see how they develop. It's the biggest plus, I would suspect, for Roland Phillips and co. Indeed, Shade Munro was telling me the under-18 Scotland setup is similarly talented, and he's looking forward to being able to develop them on the international stage. So Scotland, a quarter of an hour into this second half, have stayed firm. Skeldon sets it back for Grieve. And the Scottish forwards try and get their own attack into gear. That's a great pick-up from Helen Nelson, I think it was.
Fantastic hands, absolutely fantastic hands.
Especially in this cold weather. Her handling has been very, very impressive. There's the kick that we were waiting for, fielded by Lauren Smith. Smith, the cousin of Liam Williams, so both Welsh 15s keeping it in the family.
Good genes.
Obviously. Very talented. Made her debut against South Africa in the autumns. Turns 18 tomorrow. Is Lauren Smith, so she becomes a veteran, I think, in this Welsh side, isn't she?
Yeah, officially a senior player then.
Doctor, please. Stay down, please. Stay down.
Big collision there, and the referee wisely calling a halt immediately. Beatrice Benvenuti, a very experienced official now, making that quick call.
Display on the ground. Yeah.
So Jodie Retty coming on. No, it's not, it's Rachel Malcolm. By the way she's running off, I would suggest that that's not a permanent substitution.
Thank you.
Baseline replaces for Scotland, leading the pitch right now. Rachel Malcolm, third place slot, number 16, Jodie Retty.
Head injury assessment for Rachel Malcolm brings Jodie Retty, the Saracens, well, ostensibly hooker, but she came on as a flanker against France, so has that facility, that capacity to be able to play front and back row. Emma Warsaw again in the wars.
9 blue. It's G9.
Let's just see, you can see the collision there.
Number 9 substitution. Number 9. Number 9 substitution.
Something like Rachel McLaughlin. Yeah, it's Rachel McLaughlin who took the connection there.
It's a big hit. Yeah, thank you. Big high hit.
Jenny Maxwell on to replace that lady. Grieve at scrum half. There she is, wearing the 21 jersey, the Loughborough Lightning scrum half. Needless to say, Emma Wassell's going nowhere.
Yeah.
These are tough ladies.
Number 9 and 10 red.
One tough cookie is the Harriet second row, that is for sure.
On your mark.
Now more changes from the Welsh
Number 10,
ranks.
blue. Oh, it's already done, yeah.
There's Eleanor Snowsill and Fionn Lewis come on, as well as that lady Lisa Martin.
Turns back on. We're going to restart.
Lisa Martin on for Helen Nelson. We've got Helen Nelson that had quite an influential game.
maybe the more experience of Lisa Martin coming in, taking a bit more control of the game. Certainly looks like that's the thoughts of the Welsh camp, bringing Eleanor Snowsill into her more favoured position of fly half there.
So all the halfbacks changed.
Set.
There's Fionn Lewis. The Worcester Valkyries scrum half gets her first feed in.
Ball is out, use it.
And her first pass away, Snowsill.
Two replacements for
Smith cutting the line, finding the angle. That's the threat, that's the danger she possesses. Counter-ruck coming in though from the
Chase
Scots.
the turnover, stay back.
Turnover ball. Forsyth bundling away up towards halfway. Oh, the first kick from Lisa Martin. Never in control of that ball, always under pressure. Clay invited to sit down. Rachel Malcolm got her shoulder into that one. Or was it Jade Conkell? It may have been the Harlequins, number 8. Snowsill changes the tactics, puts the up and under, and it pays dividends because it's taken in by Jazz Joyce.
In front of the kicker.
Oh, Joyce just getting ahead of operations there for the visitors.
I think Scotland are also going to have to be careful. They're bringing great line speed, but they're just teetering on the edge at the moment of potential offside, so they just need to be careful there. Shame that didn't come off for Wales there, but that's exactly what they need now in this half. Mix up the attack.
Yeah, you can see, I think it's Hannah Smith, isn't it?
Red.
I'm sure that Jasmine Joyce was that far in front,
Yeah.
but play goes on. There's the Olympian, part of the Team GB in Rio, the only Welsh participant, of course. Siobhan Lillicrap is going to have some attention. Is it HIA or blood? To bring Alicia Butchers on.
Yeah, good girls. Tunnel's back on.
So the players' tunnel, acting like Glasgow Central Station on a Friday lunchtime. Now things can settle down and the teams can settle into some sort of routine.
No hands in there, it's a rock.
Quick feed from Maxwell, the call from Lisa Thompson. Lisa Thompson and Lisa Martin, now that hinge for the Scots. Maxwell has to quickly work to pick up the ball. There's Hannah Smith, again cutting that 45-degree angle, which sometimes opens the door but ultimately closes the channel for the wider wingers and the fullback. Maxwell, good handling, Conkell. Evans tracking a target there, bringing her down. Oh, the hands of Lana Skeldon just failing to hold on there.
Ball lost forward.
Lisa Martin is really making her impact. Not only controlling the game, but she's massively up the tempo. Their attacking threat has just gone through the roof within the moment she's come on the field.
Lisa Martin, so experienced, one of the 8 assisted players that Scottish RFU are supporting. She plays her rugby out at Lille Metropole in the top 16 as it is now. Of course, it's expanded this season.
Yeah, fantastic. From top 8 to top 16, amazing progression.
There she is. Made her debut way back in January 2011. Earning her 48th cap now. Flower of Scotland works its way out from a bagpipe somewhere in the locale. Now we're moving into the final quarter. It'll be fascinating to see what Shade Munro, what Roland Phillips, what differences they can make into this final quarter to just get their noses ahead on that scoreboard.
I think both coaches would have been very aware of how tight this game would be and how important those finishers are going to be in these dying minutes, especially when we've got a game that's 10-10.
Finishers?
Absolutely.
I thought I was standing next to Eddie Jones for a minute. There's another change. Mr. Coburn just waiting to come on into the fray. She's coming on now.
Girl, please, discipline.
And Mary Forsyth can be satisfied and proud of a very good hour, her first starting hour for her country. Coburn on to win her 7th cap. Playing the rugby at DMP Sharks in the north of England, north east. Get any emails from frustrated people in that neck of the woods? Tamara Taylor and co.
Step. No, you're going down. Going down.
Again, the pressure on the Scottish front row, unable for them to bear, and the penalty goes to the visitors. Well, I'm not saying stats tell the story every time, but they have told the story once again in this third quarter that neither team can get points on the board.
Yeah, both teams are going to be a bit disappointed about that. It just seems like all the rugby is being played in the centre of the field at the moment, tussling with that momentum.
Well, there's Dee Bradbury, the first female president of a Tier 1 nation. Smile, Dee, you're on TV. Great to see, especially on International Women's Day, as it is. Sun, of course, playing tomorrow at Murrayfield. Good quick transference by Welsh hands, trying to open the door there. Phillips.
Stay up! Stay up!
Wales desperately trying to up the ante now. The rain continues to drown this match, but it hasn't doused the fires, the emotions, the application from both sides. Snowsill can't find the target immediately. Good supporting play coming round the corner. Ricochet falling into Scottish hands, I think. Jenny Maxwell desperate for the ball. Bonner. Two Scottish second rows again applying themselves whenever the cause requires. Smith falls back into her own 22. Smith having to run out of the shallow end, but doing well to get a team out of the 22.
And that is why Lisa Martin's been brought on at this point. That calm control. She knew exactly what to do with that ball. Quick turnover. Let's pin Wales down in the 22.
Fionn Lewis just checking the positioning of everybody. Trying to lasso any breakout from the ladies in red at the moment. Good handoff from Amy Evans. And suddenly Wales are out of their 22. Gwen Crabb, sports student at Cardiff Met University. Started the last three now. Ball goes loose though now. Scotland looking for an opportunity from this possession. Maxwell. Bonner sets it back, but it's not good presentation, and it allows the Welsh fringe defenders to hustle forward. Chloe Rowley was hanging right out there. She was begging for the pass, and it was almost, but not quite.
Yeah, Yeah, a bit of a forced pass there, trying to skip over one player to get it into the hands of Chloe Rowley. They were just a bit too flat there to try and take that ball.
Well, the Lille Metropole fullback has seen more ball in this game than she may have done recently, but understandably so difficult to handle the bar of soap that ball is now, as we see there from Fionn Lewis. In fact, no, that was Manon Jones, wasn't it, coming through?
Pass from Fee Lewis to Manon Jones. That could just, again, be a bit more sympathetic. In these conditions, you're going to have the runners coming on at such pace, close to the ruck. Just a little lift to them.
These two teams have been so closely associated for so long. Wales finishing sixth with the wooden spoon in the last Six Nations, just on points difference from Scotland. Their utmost to make sure they're going to keep in the game into the final quarter of an hour now. It's been inclement, does not do it justice. Liquid sunshine, well, for the positive, I guess, but it has been disgusting conditions to have to play rugby in.
And credit to both of the teams, they really are mixing things up. You know, this could have been a very narrow, slightly boring game, but they are still trying to play, trying to forget about the conditions, do what they do best.
Engagement, early ambition, hampering the Scottish cause, and Karis Phillips drives her team up. As ever, leading from the front, such an inspiring leader. Lewis to Amy Evans. Strong character, strong personality. Jim Owner from Aberdare. Those in Dare Fitness will be watching this with interest, no doubt. Well, good work from the Scots forwards, and Jade Conkell and co are really celebrating those little victories that mean so much in a tight game like this.
Turnovers like that, especially when you sort of out-muscle your opponent, are massive confidence boosters.
Second rows, they need you to hold it, okay? Let's not leave them, they're going to fall in front.
So yeah, they've managed to just hold her up there. You hold her up, tackle isn't made, it's a turnover. I think Gwen Crabb just caught maybe off with her timing from the pass from Eleanor Snowsill. Didn't really put anything onto it, didn't have momentum going into the contact, and then it was an easier job for the Scots to be able to hold her up then.
Siobhan Lillicrap back into the mix, having successfully completed that HIA. Lillicrap, player of the match in that Italy draw out in Lecce. Just her type of game, I would suggest. She's such a carrying machine, does so many of the hard yards for the Welsh.
Yeah, absolutely, and she did that day. Hard yards in attack, but then absolutely everywhere in defence. She really sets the tone in defence with her line speed.
That's the time that Roland Phillips didn't want to see from his team. Jenny Maxwell looks to go quickly. Maxwell skirting round one or two, cutting back inside is Rona Lloyd. I think it's the first time I've mentioned Rona Lloyd in 66 minutes of action, but just running out of room on this near side. An impressive Six Nations try against France. Of course, scored a try in that Welsh game back in 2017 in Cumbernauld.
Great to see a little dart there from the replacement scrum half. Fantastic taste onto the ball, really sacked in the defenders. Didn't quite leave enough room for the player on the outside though.
The geometry not quite working for the Scots there, so it is going to be a Welsh line-out throw. And the mitt comes through this time, I think it was Sarah Bonner. And the ball for Wales to work away from. Kennedy and Evans just having a short conversation. Wales setting things up for another kick and drive, but again look how it's rebuffed by the Scots. Their fringe defence seems to have got stronger and stronger.
Very strong around the fringe, particularly find that back row there. They were excellent against France in the last round.
Little chick through, George is through quickly to take it again, Lewis. Counter-ruck going on from the Scots, making life very uncomfortable at the breakdown.
The side, be on the side.
Coming
On the
through
side
on
of
the
my
side.
feet.
Smith just having a quick bout of fisticuffs there with Rettig. Wales working their way up towards halfway. Again, that counter-up goes on. Again, it's Amy Evans who picks up the scraps and forces her way up towards halfway. Coming to the rescue again for the Welsh.
The Welsh could have a little look up here. There's actually the wingers, the Scottish wingers, are all up in the line. There's plenty of room behind.
Snowsill sees it. And it's a kick that works for them. Eleanor Snowsill, so experienced, been there, seen it, done it, got most of the t-shirts by now.
Yeah, in 7s and in 15s. Very, very talented athlete.
Well, it's putting Alicia Butchers back into the mix. This time it's for Gwen Crabb. There's the 19-year-old. Made a debut against Hong Kong in the autumns and now very much part of the Welsh furniture up front.
Yeah, really a line-out specialist as well. Natural leader in the line-out.
Safe take from Bonner. Straight into that midfield. The two Lisas combining.
Release! It's a tackle now!
Feeling that the Scottish attack is beginning to combine, beginning to gel.
Stop, Blue!
Lisa Martin it is with the kick. Smith takes it at the second bite. Oh, the little show and go from the fullback opens the door for Jess Kavanagh. Maybe it's just a little bit of spark of something special that might make the difference in this game. Snowsill. Quick handling.
The advantage.
Snowsill trying to open the
Advantage
door
over.
for Jazz Joyce. Joyce up to the 10-metre line. Scorer of the try that never was, of course, in Lecce. Know what she can do given the opportunity. Can Wales manufacture that opportunity for their electric right winger? 10 minutes to go now.
That's frustrating for Wales. Great momentum there. They really had Scotland on the back foot. They were really chasing the game.
I have the line as a reference here.
Look back to this pass here from Snowsill. Pass, just a bit of timing there. Alicia Butchers, a bit keen to get her hands
Scotland,
on the ball.
please, let's not
It was
waste
a
time.
great line, just forward pass. Isn't it amazing to see Lauren Smith there with that little dummy show and go and step? How 20 seconds can make you realise the skill and the potential of a player. Calmly, you know, fumbles the first one, regathers, little dummy, fix and releases the winger. Fantastic. She is going to be one to watch for the
Blue
future.
11, substitution.
There she is. Big birthday tomorrow. Turns 18. Abby Evans coming on to replace Annabelle Sargent.
Annabelle Sargent being replaced by number 23, Abby Evans.
So, more changes in place.
Crouch! Bind! Step!
Martin trying to get Abby Evans into the game. Evans making early headway. Plays her rugby just down the road at Hillhead, Jordan Hill. Knows all about these conditions. The juggle, but the ball goes backwards. Scotland continue their momentum into the Welsh half.
Play
Maxwell and
advantage
Martin.
offside.
Advantage call there against the Welsh.
20 offside.
Call going against Johns.
Yeah, you can just see they're a bit too keen. Shot out of the line too early there, giving away that penalty. You've got to be on the edge when it comes to defence. Yes, you need to be in their face. Yes, you need to bring line speed, but it's all got to be legally done.
Oh, Martin, Lisa Thompson it was, trying to go for position there. Didn't find the right angle, but are they going to get a chance? They lose the ball in the lights. It's Chloe Rowley who picks up the scraps. Abby Evans once again gets her hands on the ball. An international swimmer for 6 years. Maybe a front crawl will come in use in this weather.
You have the ball, Lewin.
Chaotic phase of play, but Scotland now reset themselves. The clock continues to tick towards 80. Who is going to find that vital thrust to decide this game? Out it goes to Hannah Smith. Smith's got outside her. Chloe Rowley! What a time to score your first try in this Six Nations! Is that the decisive score for Scotland? She's done it against Wales, 2 tries last year. She's done it now here at Scotstoun. Is that going to be the big score for the Scots?
What a fantastic interlinking play, and again, it's got to be noted that all came from Lisa Martin. Her ambition to play, you can see the injection of tempo that she's brought to the game. Lovely little breakthrough. Hannah Smith here, ball in hand, beats one defender, offloads, and it's an easy run in really for Chloe Rowley, but great to see her scoring finally in this Six Nations.
That combination of Martin and Thompson now seems to be working Scotland into a higher gear a lot quicker.
Yeah, and it was the partnership of old, but they have been trying these new combinations, and pretty much we've been seeing the standard Helen Nelson, Lisa Thompson, Hannah Smith being played every Six Nations, but I do think there is definitely a place for Lisa Martin on this team.
Hannah Smith there, key architect within that try. Oh, flirting with that right hand upright. So it is the 5-point buffer with 5 minutes left for the hosts. There's Lisa Martin calling the shots. A new hinge has made all the difference to the hosts. There's Lisa Thompson. Hannah Smith. Well, she knows all about this pitch. Her brother Matt plays for the Warriors normally.
Knock on.
Loose work from Nicola Howard. Wales now trying to get their own attacking game into gear. What a finish we have in store here at Scotstoun. Wales trying to work around the fringe. Lewis, scorer of the try in the first half. George. Scottish girls screaming at each other to hold their discipline, hold their position. It's there for Bethan Lewis again. What a game she has put in. The Welsh forwards sorting out the next push, the next heave, the next shove to try and get them into better position. But you can see the body language of the Scots now. They believe that they can control this now.
They do, and you can see now their defence has gone from just bodies on the feet. They're actually getting into that ruck and trying to slow it down. They don't want to let Wales have any chance of getting back into this game.
Rock is form, no hands. no hands, leave the ball.
Over-eager Scottish hands giving the penalty away. Snowsill steps up. No doubt. Well, no, she's handed the ball on to Flaky George to try and set that line-out position deep in the Scottish 22. Perfect kick. Perfect kick from Flaky George now. Here we go. 3 minutes for Wales to discover the key to the Scottish lock.
How many girls?
This would be a turnaround.
They've been here before, they couldn't come away with points. Can they make sure it counts this time? Clay provides the possession. Lewis comes round looking at the short side. They've got to keep cool heads now. The adrenaline will be racing through bodies now, as tired as they are. They've got to manufacture position.
Get back.
Forward setting up. Evans turn turtle, ball goes loose, but Wales quick to react. Good work. Kennedy just getting in an awkward position.
Live it, blue, live it, live it.
Wales continue to batter on the Scottish door. The clock ticks. Wales work their way towards the white line.
Get out, get out.
So near for the Welsh.
Stay up, blue, release.
Can they make it count? Those voracious forwards want that final thrust, want that final flourish. They go again.
Release, blue.
Again, Scottish bodies are laid in the way.
Get on line.
Time and time again, Wales forcing themselves towards
Get back on
that
feet.
second try.
Release now.
Referee keeping right on top of the breakdown.
Get on line.
Every movement now is going to be scrutinised.
Wales need to get it out now.
On the line.
Once again, Welsh forwards are rebuffed. Where's the ball? Who's got it? It's there for Lillicrap. Where is it? It's still there. Still they go again. Up and over it goes, but it doesn't get beyond the white line. It is still there for the visitors.
Stay back.
Looking for that final thrust, that final coup de grace that will tie the scores up. Referee keeping right on top of the case. Thrilling finish, penalty call goes to the visitors. 5 seconds left on the clock.
Come here.
This is it. It's make or break for Wales. And they're over. I think it's Beth Lewis. No, she's turned turtle. It's still there for Wales though. There they go. The second try is recorded. They've done it. They forced it back. I'm trying to see who scored it.
I think that's Siwan Lillicrap claiming that. It wasn't the prettiest of rugby, but it was a job done.
Siwan Lillicrap does finally get her first international try. The disappointment at the first half is appeased by elation at the end of the second. Well, great work from the Welsh forwards, congregating, going and going again to get that score that they craved. Now they need this conversion to win the game.
Yeah.
So here we go. Flaky George. kick for the game, a kick for their first win in this year's Six Nations. Blakey George is up to the task. Scotstoun blushes red as Wales come from behind to take victory. Well, Philippa Touchett, who is your player of the match after that incredible game?
There were some fantastic performances from both sides, and you've got to pay credit to Emma Walsall, number 4 on Scotland, but for this game, my player of the match is going to Amy Evans. Fantastic prop, unbelievable work rate in this game. Her turnovers, her tackling, true heart of the team. She has had a fantastic Six Nations so far, but a true player this game.
Well, what a game it has been. They have given that absolute all. Scotland came within seconds, within centimetres of holding on to that victory, but credit to the Welsh. They have worked so hard. The last 2 games only had 1 point between them. Well, this game had 2 points. We knew it was going to be tight. It went right to the wire. Wales get their first win of the Six Nations. Amy Evans, the Women's Six Nations Player of the Match, victorious as Wales, the victors in a very memorable game, 17 points to 15.
Amy, what an incredible finish to that game. Have you got your breath back after all that hard work on the Scotland line?
Yeah, just about. It was a massive defensive effort from us. We always know it's going to be tough for Scotland with like close game last year and the year before they're winning, so we knew we were up for a battle and they bought it. So yeah, just managed to get my breath back.
Did you believe that you could have gone up to the line there just with so little time left and got the points that mattered?
Well, when they just scored on our half there, Eleanor is an experienced player. Like, she still told us it takes 10 seconds to score a try. We had 6 minutes then, so we knew we just had 6 minutes of hard work, and if we grafted we could get it, and we all just believed and we come away with that point.
You've worked hard all championship, you've done lots of really tough defensive work, you've held the line at times, but here at the very end you went to the other end and you worked hard in offence, and you got the point.
Yeah, we've had 3 matches now of a great defensive effort, and against England we showed some attacking opportunities, so today there was a mixture of the both. We had both attack and defence. We just need to keep developing that game now and take those opportunities when we can, and we're developing an all-round game.
1 game to go. Could you get another win?
Yeah, we're looking forward to Ireland. It's always a great match against Ireland at home as well. So hopefully you can come away with another win and improving our place from last time in the championship. So big belief now going into our final game.
Well, good luck then, Amy. Thank you very much. You're tonight's player of the game, and Rosie Hume will present you with your prize.
Thank you.
Lisa, that's a heartbreaking way to end that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many positives to take from that game. We're just a couple games too late in our performances, but that is an absolute shift from the girls. We asked for a turnaround from last week and from Italy and Ireland. We've absolutely turned it around there. So we need to be proud of ourselves in that performance. We just sustained pressure on our line for about 3 minutes there. So we need to take pride in that. We can take positives into next week against England.
You almost did hold out, you're right. But when you scored the try at the other end, you must have thought, we're in here, we've got this one.
I mean, it's always next job. When you score a try, you need to think next job. So we're unlucky to give away a turnover in our own half. We just need to look after ball there, but that's something we need to look at, our discipline there. So I think we can only take away the positives from that. I think that's an absolute shift again from the girls, so we'll just look at that.
There were high points against France despite the defeat. Today as well, you're saying you can take the positives. Do you feel that you're now moving in the right direction after the first couple of games?
Oh, 100%. We know what we need to do now to get a performance like that. I think we trained well during the week, even with the weather behind us. We trained well during the week, so I think we just need to get in our heads. We need to get the mentality that we had against Wales for every single game. Doesn't matter who we're playing, we need to have the exact same mentality.
Commiserations, thank you for your time. Thank you. Caris, that's what you call an 80-minute performance, I think.
Yeah, we made hard work of ourselves in the first half, especially. Like, we didn't use the wind enough, I don't think. And we knew going in half time 10-all that Scotland are going to come out guns blaring. They do every year. And to come back with 7 minutes to go, to get back up the field and get a try at the end, and that kick by Clykie, it was tough out there.
Scotland did have quite a lot of the ball in the second half, but they didn't get much territory. To then concede a try when you did you fear the worst?
No, we still have belief behind the post. We said it takes 10 seconds to go try. We have that belief within ourselves now within that team. We've got a young squad. We know we can come back and win games like that. So the composure we showed, definitely as a pack as well, to get back up there and get a try was fantastic. And it's a great feeling to get our first win of the campaign.
Yeah, it was quite a battle up front. You seemed to have the upper hand in the scrum for a while in the first half. Second half seemed a bit more even, but you'll have taken a lot of pleasure from going to the line there and driving over.
Yeah, definitely. Coming into the week, we knew we had them in the scrum, and we had belief in our set piece, definitely. And to come back up, pick and go, I don't know how many phases it was. It felt like forever, but to get over the whitewash in the end was a fantastic feeling. Yeah.
Another win in the final game would put quite a nice complexion on this year's championship.
Yeah, obviously we've had 3 really tough rounds. We never take Scotland for granted. It's a tough game every year, like one point each every time. So 2 points this year, a bit different, but to come away with a win, definitely the team at the end, you can see how much it meant to us all. So to go home with a win is a fantastic feeling, leading into our last week now against Ireland.
Congratulations, well done tonight.
Thank you very much, cheers, thank you.